And there's this theory that the Kardashians are a multi-generational coven of witches. One of the Kardashians is dating an F1 racer. There was a scandal where she picked up one of the other racers' towels, like sweat towel, and like dabbed her forehead and put it back. And you're not supposed to do that. It's the person's towel. This person, who was apparently a very good racer, did not place in the race. I know it's crazy, but you think about how Kanye went off the rails, and then think about this action she did. She took this towel, dabbed herself, and then the energy of the towel transfer, this person did not place in the race. So is magic real? Are there...
Forget Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura, where he called a bald man with a monocle Mr. Monopoly, but Mr. Monopoly never had a monocle in this timeline. Forget David Carriere in Full House. Yeah, Uncle Joey doesn't exist. He was never an uncle. Nope. He was just Danny's friend. He was never officially an uncle in Full House. Don't forget, you have never been to Payless Shoe Stores. You have never been to Payless Shoe Stores because it doesn't exist. Nope, it is Payless Shoe Stores. Shoe Stores doesn't exist in this timeline. Never forget the Miss Doubtfire actress Sally Fields is actually named Sally Field. Yes, you like me, you really, really like me. Oscar winner, Sally Field. There has never been an S in this timeline. Never been an S. You're misremembering. And her brother just so happens to be one of the top scientists in CERN. Not making that up. That's a real fact. Never forget American pastor Joel Osteen is not a real person. It's actually Joel Osteen. There's no L in his name. Not never. Nope, nope, nope. You don't remember it because it doesn't exist. Don't forget the Roadrunners catchphrase. Yes, what is the American cartoon, the Roadrunners catchphrase? Meep, meep. Nope, you're wrong. In this timeline, it's beep, beep. He's actually mimicking a car. Beep, beep. Meep, meep is something that we all made up in our head because it doesn't exist in this timeline. 1950 show Bewitched. What was her signature move she did before she did magic? Was it wiggle her nose? Nope, that doesn't exist in this timeline. Nope, she never wiggled her nose in this timeline. Look it up. She only wiggled her lips. Yes, her lips. She has never wiggled her nose in this timeline. Get it together. You're misremembering. Let me know if any of these changed for you.
The White House posted this video to their official Twitter channel with 9 million views. And some of the symbology in this, like, we got to pause it and zoom in. We got UFOs flying around. We just saw Diet Coke. We have what looks like the Family Guy kind of animation action. We got aliens. And then it gets really weird here when this guy removes his face to reveal a cyborgy, or maybe that was like the movie They Live. Dragons, not dinosaurs, flying around. That's very interesting. Or some type of reptile thing. But what's the big idea with this being posted on the White House? And for those who are skeptical, which you should be, this is the official White House Twitter tweet, actionx.com. You can go look it up. Why would they spend time dumping Diet Coke into a CGI galaxy action? Is this about space conditioning, alien conditioning? And I just watched Terminator yesterday. The cybergenetic, the guy's half cyborg, half human. Are they hiding things in plain sight or what?
I can't wrap my head around that level of conspiracy. Do you believe in the Charlie Kirk? Do you accept the narrative that the 30-06? No. I think it's strange. I went hog hunting last weekend, and like you're watching these like AK rounds just rip through hogs. 200-pound hogs. Just boom. I could not fathom so much manipulation of information to get the gate guy to agree, to get him to agree.
There's too many weird things that have happened. They concreted over the site. Candace told me that it was done in the middle of a pentagram, and I personally do think that everything now is good versus evil, and there is a demonic element.
Every single video and picture of outer space is CGI, because space is fake. No rocket has ever actually gone to space, and this is why every single video and picture of a rocket in space is also CGI. We live in a closed atmosphere, and we cannot leave. The only space exploration that humans will be doing is in the virtual reality that is being constructed. Trust me, You will go to space. You will dominate Mars. But you will be wearing a VR headset and exploring an entire fabricated reality that only exists as an algorithm in the AI hive mind. This is why the globe model is being pushed so heavily. It is the biggest psyop ever perpetuated on the human population. The goal is to completely remove us from the real world, so that we will be pulled into a virtual reality controlled by AI. In the real world, we have free will, but in the world being constructed, we will be completely imprisoned. If you do not wake up to the fact that we are being lied to about the shape of the Earth, then you will have to accept the virtual reality that is being constructed as we speak. There is no visible Earth curvature. It cannot be measured. There is no way to prove that the Earth is rotating. There is also no possible way that any human being can go to the stars. When you look up, you are looking at an entirely different plane of existence. You are not looking at more rocks and balls of gas and fire to travel to. You are looking at something that is actually beyond our physical comprehension. So as long as we are trapped in the physical body, we cannot travel to the stars. You need to wake up before you stay asleep forever. But of course, I made this video entirely for entertainment purposes only.
I'm pulling into the house, grab the phone, look at that windows wide open door. What the? No. There's some there. That is 100% a person in my shed. Yo, that's a person in my shed. That is a person in my shed. Hey, dude. Okay, that's a school. That's somebody in the shed. Yo, hey, who is in here? 100% saw that. Yo. Hey. And I saw something on the Ring camera. I see movement. Who's up here? Hey, come on. Is somebody up here? Hey. Look, come on, man. Please. I will 100% call the police. I'm not kidding. Hey there. Yo. Come on, man. I'm calling the police. If somebody is in here, the police will be here in 5 minutes. Do you hear me? And you Hey, come on. You're done. I'm telling you. Okay. All right. Look, that's fine.
Mike Tyson said God's greatest soldiers are also the devil's favorite. Yes, and I tell people that have addictions, the guy that was in prison, you made it this far because you're God's soldier. So now if you think, unfortunately, a lot of us can't think spiritually. So if you think spiritually, good, evil. If the good team has a powerful player, the evil team is going to do everything they can to take that player out. Everything it can. Let's try giving them fame. Let's try giving them a drug addiction. Let's try making this person get someone pregnant and we screw their life up for a while. Let's try to make them resentful. Let's try to make them angry. Let's try to make them go out of character and get in a fight. Let's mess with their emotions. Let's take out someone they love in their life and crush them and turn them away from their maker. The devil hates good souls.
So this one's a weird one. This is coming from a couple of friends who noticed something odd in the sky. Not a typical UFO or an unidentified object. This is a very well-known object. They saw literally a flying car. Take a look at this video, comment below, let us know what you think.
Fog is going away. What is it? Oh my god, is it a car? What is it? What? What the fuck is that? What the fuck? What the fuck is that? car? What the fuck is that? What the fuck?
So what do you think? Is it a flying car? Is it a balloon? Maybe new technology is being tested and experimented on, and what we're seeing is the next wave of our technological evolution. Watch it again, comment below, let us know what you think.
Fuck is going away. What is it? Oh my god, is it a car? What is it? What? What the fuck is that? What the fuck? What the fuck is that? It's a car! What the fuck is that? What the fuck?
Has anybody been seeing stuff out the corner of their eyes lately? Every time I turn around, I feel like I'm seeing something from the corner of my eyes, but when I look, there's nothing there. Not only that, guys, people are saying this as well. I don't know, ever since they shut down that thing in Switzerland, I've been seeing a lot of stuff from the corner of my eyes. But when I look, it is not there. And it's usually like a dark figure or something like that. It's not like I'm seeing a person. It's like I'm seeing a dark figure or something go by me real fast. But by the time I turn around, I don't see anything. Something's going on out here, guys. I've been seeing a lot of stuff from the corner of my eye lately. Maybe I'm bugging. Maybe something's up. I'm just asking to see if there's anybody else that's been experiencing the same thing. People are saying that we're getting closer to the end, and if it ends, it ends. For real. Like, the beginning was good, but things are getting really strange out here, guys. I don't know what to think. I don't know what's going on. I keep waking up at 4 in the morning. Let's not forget that. For some reason, I keep waking up at 4 in the morning. Something is going on out here, guys, and I need people to let me know if they know what I'm talking about, if they're going through the same exact thing. Something's up. Let me know if you...
So if the Earth is truly a globe, then that means that ships should at some point disappear below a physically curving horizon, which means that the curve of the Earth would be obstructing your view of the ship, and you could hypothetically never see it again. But here's the thing. If you take a high-powered camera or even a nice pair of binoculars, you can zoom in on the horizon and make a ship reappear that apparently went over a physical curvature. And the same thing goes for the Chicago skyline, seen across Lake Michigan at up to 57 miles away. Now, do you really think that the entire Chicago skyline is just constantly refracting over and over and over and over? It's a mirage, and somehow it's not distorted at all as it's reaching your eyes? No. So this is a sunset seen from Aulac, France, 163 miles away from the viewer. The sun is setting over Canigou Peak. Canigou Peak is 163 miles away, and you would be observing that sunset at a certain time of the year from 1,000 feet up. Well, guess what? That's 10,000 feet of curvature. Did you see any curvature? I didn't. I made this video for entertainment purposes.
There's a flesh-eating parasite that the U.S. completely wiped out 60 years ago, and 2 weeks ago it crossed back over the southern border in Texas. Now let me tell you about the New World screwworm. This thing is not like a normal maggot. This one is an obligate parasite, meaning it can only survive by eating flesh. The fly lays its eggs in an open wound, and when those eggs hatch, the larva burrow downward like a little screw, and if it's not caught early, it can be fatal. Here's what I want you to know, because you're probably going to start hearing this absolutely everywhere. We already beat this thing in the 1960s. We eradicate it with something as brilliant, right, as releasing sterile flies so that females couldn't reproduce. The single best protection for you and your family, simple. Keep any wound, any open wound, covered. So, don't let all this fear-mongering that's bound to come up keep you from...
There is a venomous ant that is currently spreading across America right now, and a single sting from it can cause you to go into full anaphylactic shock. So this is actually called the Asian needle ant, and it came over from Asia a very long time ago, but now it's officially spread to at least 22 different states in America. As of right now, it's mostly spread across the southeast and up the east coast, and experts are currently saying that it's showing up in way more backyards than it's supposed to be. And they're also saying that this ant is actually way more likely to put you into full anaphylaxis than a fire ant, which is a life-threatening allergic reaction from one single sting. Doctors have already been reporting multiple different cases of it, and people who got stung say the pain keeps coming back in waves for the entire rest of the day. The reason why people keep on getting so caught off guard is because of where the ants live, because they don't build big mounds like fire ants do, they just hide under mulch, logs, rocks, and piles of leaves in your backyard. So obviously people aren't seeing them coming. And on top of the sting, they're saying that it's also wiping out native ants all across the southeast. Can we go outside at all?
My insider told me word for word, when you start seeing fires around the entire world, know that it's about to go down. What's about to go down? The human harvest. Which insider? The Lockheed Martin insider. Isn't it strange how the last 2 years we have seen all these fires popping up all over the earth? Right now, France, Spain, Canada, all over the United States. All these random fires, of which, by the way, they're looking for like 40 people over there in France or Spain that they think maybe had a hand in what's going on right now. By the way, completely unrelated, completely different subject. I showed you a few videos ago about how France and Spain are about to have these just huge, massive data centers, like 150,000 square foot.
Sir, it's me.
Yeah, whatever. The insider was a paper shredder for Lockheed Martin. Now, I already went and verified all his details. I found his company, I found the contract, I found all this stuff already. I already made a video on it. So he definitely was, in fact, a shredder for Lockheed Martin. And he said, when you start seeing fires all over the earth, know that we are almost at the human harvest. What human harvest? Well, allegedly, not related. There's some kind of secret contract with the GOVs of the world and the leaders of the world and these aliens. So in other words, is the earth about to be plagued by fallen angels, by flesh suits holding the spirits of demons? Y'all, I really think so. The president just had posted, you know, a UFO in Washington, D.C. on that little AI cartoon he did.
Stop spreading fear!
How is telling you what a legitimate paper shredder for Lockheed, how is telling you what he says spreading fear? Also, what if he's right? Let me leave you with this. What if these centers opening up all over the world, what if that's to open portals and let wickedness into our realm? Kind of weird how he was able to tell the future, right? Way more details on the video in the comments from YT on The Chosen One. It could be wrong, but I have a feeling we're riding out the last few years. Hope I'm right.
She heard it moving in her attic. Jen was watching a movie one night around 3 a.m. when she got an overwhelmingly eerie feeling, so she started recording, then captured this.
I will not be wrong. There it goes. You see it?
Remove all of this. I'm popping a dance floor. There. I'll be playing confident music.
Let's not have some big vocal display. I'd rather we just do something simple and intimate. All I need is you just to repeat lovely gently and spray some My camera's trying to focus on something. I love you. Well.
I think I found your boy.
Where? Holy shit.
As she stares at the door, it slowly creaks open on its own in a strange way. Her camera gets blurry for a sec as it seemingly tries to focus on something, but when it finally does, nothing's there. Days later, she hears a strange noise coming from upstairs, so she goes to check it out. Then this happens.
Oh my god, if you guys could feel like my heart pounding through my chest. Hello? I feel like an animal. Yo.
She opens the closet she thinks the sound is coming from, and immediately gets a bad feeling. And just as she's about to leave, she hears footsteps charging towards her, and then they just stop. Now, she has had other strange experiences in her home, but this was by far the most terrifying. Is there something unseen attached to her house, or was it just a critter?
The signs were always there with LeBron going to Philly, because what are the odds? During his first ever press conference when he was 18, this dude behind him just so happens to be wearing a Philadelphia jersey. Philly, right there for everybody to see. So since the very beginning, when he was 18 years old, this was his destination. The fact that he also knew the current president of the Philadelphia 76ers when he was a kid at that. I mean, come on, y'all. All of this stuff is nothing more than scripted entertainment, because what are the odds that he has his first press conference, a dude's wearing a Philly jersey. He knew this dude, the president, the current president of the 76ers, when he was still a kid, right? What are the odds of all of this? This was definitely 100% scripted, because the NBA is no different than the WWE.
So I haven't spoken on the war in Iran, primarily because I know behind closed doors, they all work together. It's all scripted and staged, and we are in the last second anyway. However, I have started to see a lot of these types of articles about sleeper cell attacks. Now, normally, when they release articles like this, it is a foreshadowing of things to come. This is just something that I've noticed. Normally, when they release articles like this, it doesn't happen immediately, but it will happen. It is a foreshadowing. It will happen like 6 months down the line. And because I know that we are in the last second, because I know that this world is about to enter into Daniel's 70th week, aka the 7-year tribulation, when the restrainer is removed and evil becomes unhindered. I'm wondering, I'm not saying it's for sure, but I'm just wondering if it's possible these sleeper cell attacks are related to the second seal. Because at the second seal, there are murdering spirits that are released upon the earth. It says, when the Lamb opened the second seal, I heard the second living creature say, come. Then another horse came out, a fiery red one. Its rider was given power to take peace from the earth and to make people kill each other. To him was given a large sword. Now, I saw a video a while ago, and for the life of me, I cannot find it again. But it was somebody who was talking about the sleeper cells and what they actually are in the demonic realm. And they are literally demon-possessed people or demon-possessed AI clones or whatever government technology is available. But they are hiding out, demonic entities that are literally hiding out, waiting for the go-ahead to be released onto the earth to go kill people. Let me just pause for a second and elaborate on something, because this is an aspect of the 7-year tribulation, of Daniel's 70th week, that people are missing. People don't understand that hell is literally...
There's no real difference between me and God to my dog. I can literally walk into a room and turn the light on. I can make food appear instantaneously. I can transport myself across time and space
A warning to Ford owners. And why do I say that? Because a guy that was driving his brand new Ford Bronco going about 60 miles an hour on a highway when all of a sudden the vehicle shut off in the middle of the road. Have a look at this and listen to it for yourself.
Is it because I didn't make my payment on my Ford Bronco? Ford shut down my car because the payment is late? Dang, that's rough. That's like a scam, right? So my brand new Bronco with 3,000 miles on it is broke down in the middle of... I don't think Ford realizes how rough it is out here. Doing my best. I mean, I could be killed. I'm in like 60-mile-an-hour traffic here. My truck, broken. I could be killed.
And if you've ever been stuck on a highway, ever, you know how dangerous and scary it can be, because a lot of people don't pay attention and may not see you till the last second. Luckily for him, he had a cone that he sat down behind the Bronco. But just think about it. How many other vehicles currently today on the market have a kill switch for you allegedly not paying or missing a payment? And this individual is 100% correct. I mean, seriously, they couldn't wait for the vehicle to be parked somewhere. But as I've mentioned in a lot of my videos, AI technology is going to become a big problem, especially in brand new vehicles like this right here, where either you miss a payment, they shut it off as you're operating it, or they repossess it all on their own because they can start it up because they have control of the vehicle. So the bottom line here is, like I've said in plenty of past videos, this AI technology is going to be a big problem. Now, the question I need to ask you is, what if that individual was struck by a vehicle, or his vehicle was struck while it was turned off with a kill switch on a road that the speed limit was 60 miles per hour? Who would be at fault for that? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to...
In 2021, an Australian news channel accidentally broadcast a satanic ritual on live television. This wasn't at late night or a special horror edition, just a normal round of evening news. So let's just go to the backstory. The anchor is introducing a story about police dogs. She pauses for a second, and then the feed cuts to this. Watch it and count how long it takes for them to say anything.
Parliament. The state government announced the proposed legislation today. It's in part due to the of a police dog during an arrest in Brisbane. Recent outages have shown
millions of people saw that. The clip went everywhere. People had decided the network had let something slip, and the network did explain it. They said it was a mix-up. Footage from a different story running that night. The anchor even said it herself. It was the wrong tape. And that's true. That's genuinely what happened. But think about what that actually means. A national news channel had footage of a satanic ritual sitting in the playlist ready to roll because a satanic temple in Queensland was campaigning to teach religious classes in state schools. Think about that. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below.
A jellyfish that is the size of a pencil eraser just solved the one thing that every single scientist and billionaire on the entire planet has been trying to figure out for centuries. Dude, this is actually insane. There is a jellyfish in the ocean that is living right now that has done something that every single scientist and billionaire on the entire planet has failed to do. It defeated aging. Whenever this jellyfish gets old, sick, or damaged, it actually reverts its cells back to their youngest form and it turns itself back into a baby. Then it grows up again, and it can do that forever. There's no limit, it's unlimited. Scientists have actually been able to watch individual specimens do this over and over again, and there's one researcher in Japan that kept a colony alive for 2 years and watched it rebirth itself 11 times. No brain, no lungs, no dedicated organs. A brainless blob just cracked immortality before we ever even figured out how to stop a cold. They're saying that its adult cells actually reprogram themselves back into stem cells in under 24 hours. And then scientists are saying that if we're able to unlock that process within humans, it changes everything about how we treat aging and disease. Humanity has spent billions on anti-aging creams, and this jellyfish basically just came out and said, nah, I'll start over, and it doesn't even have a face. And meanwhile, I just threw my back out trying to get the remote.
Jesus! One night, Nick was home alone when something strange caught his attention.
Whoa.
His robot vacuum suddenly rolled out of the kitchen, but it wasn't cleaning.
Yo.
No matter where he walked, it kept changing direction, almost like it was following him.
Oh, that's cool.
At first, he thought it was just malfunctioning until this happened.
Jesus!
Nick still has no explanation for why it suddenly changed direction, or what caused it to flip over.
Okay, hold on a second. If you have not heard this theory about petrified trees, this one is in Arizona's Petrified Forest National Park. If you've not heard this theory, you may be completely mind blown, and you might be thinking about this for weeks after hearing this alternative idea of where these possibly came from and what they actually are. So the mainstream story is that this was a giant tree, or rather just a pretty big tree, that petrified over bajillions or millions or something of years. Okay, that's the official story. Wood turning into stone, which doesn't generally happen today. Usually it rots. A carbon-based thing usually rots. This thing turned to stone, apparently. But here's the crazy part. You know how there's giant cliffs and mountains which seemingly appear to be, like, I'm talking, ancient giant tree stumps, right? We got Devil's Tower, of course. Officially, this is a basalt column. It's from hardening magma and whatnot. But what if the Petrified Forest National Park and other petrified trees around the world were the branches of the ancient giant trees that were cut down by the angels, which is what they said. They sent angels down to earth to cut down. God sent angels down, cut down the trees, so that when they flood the earth, the giants can't climb the trees and survive the flood. What if tabletop mountains are ancient giant tree stumps? I'm just saying, what if? And what if these are the branches or little twigs off these giant trees? And if you're in Edmonton, go to the government house off of 102 Ave Northwest. And in the parking lot, you'll see an unassuming tree stump. You think it's just a tree stump, right? No, dude, it's petrified. This was a little baby tree back in the day when the giant trees of silicon, were they made of stone? I don't know. But check that out. They say it's millions of years old. Is that true? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts.
We have another major outage, and I'm guessing this one is just a coincidence. Okay, you see, this is the type of shit that happens in movies. But when you pinpoint it in real life, they call you crazy. So most of the people in America that have T-Mobile service don't have T-Mobile service right now. And they're writing it off as a major cell service disruption. Basically, almost everybody on T-Mobile is feeling it right now. And if you remember what happened with the Verizon outage, that outage caused AT&T to crash. That outage caused T-Mobile to crash. Now, what if that trickles over to those other phone companies, just like it did last time? Mind you, look at how many places are affected on that map. You got the East Coast almost fully red. You got down south almost fully red. And look at the West Coast. Not to mention, look at the Midwest. All that shows me is you have a lot of people without cell phone service. You got people without Wi-Fi. You got people that might not be able to make a call if they have an emergency. T-Mobile has reports past 80,000. And that number is climbing. And they're saying that it can take them almost 2 days to fix this problem. And let me ask you this. What about elderly people that have cell phones? What about people that will have emergencies within these 2 days? What if they don't have a landline? Mind you, they're downplaying it like it's a simple outage. But they're saying it's going to take 2 days. Yeah, okay.
Listen up. So I just got back from seeing my clients, and while I was driving, something hit me. The thought of surrendering your life to Christ scares some people. And I've heard plenty of non-Christians say they don't want nobody controlling their life. But the thing is, in this life, you were either controlled by two things: That is God or Satan. Because until you surrender your life to Christ, you are controlled by Satan, unknowingly. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather be controlled by Jesus Christ. And when Satan is in control of your life, he is going to steal, kill, and destroy everything. And most people think they have complete control over their life, and they don't. They're either controlled by drugs, money, lust, the list goes on. Because Satan wants you to believe that you have control, but you don't. Those things have control over you, and he uses those things to control you. I've had plenty of relationships in my past, whether it be friendships or an actual relationship with the opposite sex, and they're not surrendered to Christ. And it is hard to keep those relationships because Satan will try anything he can to destroy it. Because the last thing Satan wants is a non-believer to be yoked with a believer and them actually lead them to Christ. And when I tell y'all Satan is very tricky, he is a trickster. And he will make people that are not surrendered do things that they would not normally do. Because again, he's in control. Because non-believers who have not submitted to Christ do not have his protection. Matthew chapter 6 verse 24, no man can serve two masters. For either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon. Most people who have not submitted to Christ worship themselves, and that is why they don't want to give up that control, even though they have no idea that they are under the influence of Satan. They can try to be a good person all they want, but Satan is tricky, and he will manipulate your mind, your actions, anything he can do. Because again, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He doesn't want what's best for you, but Jesus does. If you haven't surrendered your life to Christ yet, ask yourself why. Because whether you want to believe it or not, there is a God and there is a Satan. Which one do you want to control your life? Because I promise you, if you surrender your life to Christ, he will change your life. He will change your circumstances. He will give you peace. He will also give your loved ones and the people around you peace. Because not only are you protecting yourself through Christ, you're also protecting the ones around you.
I bet you fucking won't, motherfucker.
What is your deal?
You are my fucking deal, motherfucker.
What the fuck did I do to you?
Why is there so much road rage right now? Is it because of the heat in Texas or just all the problems going on in the world? I feel like it's just getting worse. Have you experienced something like this?
Okay, so recently, a very scary incident happened to me. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you saw. But let me tell you, it is nothing.
Let's go. Tell me you heard that.
What the fuck was that, dude? Sound like somebody did a cannonball.
Compared to what these two motherfuckers asking us to scan right now. Oh shit. Witnessed while performing a Ouija board session by a lake. So a few years ago, Mindseed received an email from some people who said they were experiencing some really scary things in their home. And the story goes, the previous people who had lived there were going through some marital issues where the wife may have been a bit promiscuous, I'm assuming. And then a few weeks later, her body was found in the lake on the property, allegedly. And while they investigated this place, they captured some very scary shit. But the most disturbing thing they caught at this residence was when they were performing a Ouija board session on the deck by the lake where this woman's body was allegedly found. If this is real, this is fucking wild.
Can you give us an initial? Can you give us your name? Can you give us anything?
What in the actual? It looks like something straight out of a fucking horror movie. You know, it's one thing hearing bangs, whispers, knocks, seeing something move on its own, but actually capturing the spirit of a fucking person? who looks like the kid from the fucking Ring movie? I don't know. I mean, was it real? I wasn't there. Neither were you. They were. A fucking head popping out of a lake while performing a Ouija board session? What is she, fucking Jason Voorhees' sister now? I'm fucking speechless.
Too much drama, lies, division, chaos, and negativity. That's what the system is built to do. I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. The system is built to keep going at all costs. Any distraction, any conflict, any kind of manipulation, whatever it takes, will happen. It's like a program that just keeps fine-tuning itself. That's the big problem I have with anybody that claims to be a truth seeker and then claim a team. There is no team. It's the system and there's us. And until we hit the point where everybody realizes that it's all of us, doesn't matter who you agree with, who you don't agree with, what they look like, what big book with fancy letters that they read. In the grand scheme of things, none of it matters. Now, there is many examples I could use to prove that it involves all of us, but I'm gonna go with one that I know everybody watching this remembers. Let's talk the infamous J6. It doesn't matter what you think of the situation. In the end, a bunch of people showed up somewhere thinking they were doing good and supporting their country. And then they were directed to go somewhere else. Again, there is no teams. Peacefully or not, telling a giant group of people to go somewhere that they don't like, you know something's gonna happen. And then the whole thing turned into a dumpster fire. None of it made sense. Well, there's a big common denominator between where they were at, where they were sent to, and the big group itself. Who was one of the biggest talking heads on that situation? Now remember this one, right? I don't care what she tried to say as she was walking out the door. Up until that point, she lived and breathed the blue and white. It's even in her bloodline. Funny how it's always there. You getting sick of it yet? Good. Now let's talk about that crowd. If this was actually something that was pre-planned, how would that even go down? How would you know what to do? Maybe because you've been in that situation before? I mean, watching 1 million people march has got to produce some good data, no? And now here we are, a few days away from continuing to be in the same position we were in decades ago. And I know, I got some nerve bringing up MLK. See, nobody's saying that the civil rights movement isn't something that needed to happen. It's just the timing that's the interesting part. And one last time, remember, there's no teams. Well, we all know a little of Operation Paperclip, right? The German scientists came over right after World War II and secretly started doing things like running NASA. Well, you ever wonder how they really got away with that? Because personally, I find it highly coincidental that Operation Paperclip started in 1945. A few short years later is when Truman decided to desegregate the military, essentially kicking off the civil rights movement. That's a hell of a coincidence, ain't it? There is no teams, only two. And until we realize that, it stays the same.
What you're looking at might be one of the strangest clearings hidden deep inside the Amazon rainforest. At first, it looks like nothing more than a perfectly straight line cutting through endless jungle. But where does it lead? And why is it there? Let's open Google Earth. We're heading to southeastern Peru, deep in the Amazon basin, not far from the Brazilian border. This is one of the most remote places on Earth. For dozens of kilometers in every direction, there's almost nothing but untouched rainforest. And then, there it is. The exact same mysterious strip hidden among the trees. So what could it be? Some believe it's an abandoned jungle airstrip, once used by explorers, miners, or remote expeditions. Others think it could be an old geological survey line, cut through the forest decades ago, while searching for oil, gas, or valuable minerals. It might even be a forgotten access route that nature has slowly reclaimed over the years. Whatever its true purpose was, this perfectly straight scar still remains visible from space, surrounded by one of the world's largest rainforests. What do you think this mysterious line really is?
So if I ever shave my face again, you'll know.
Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
It isn't clones, it's worse than that. Everyone's talking about celebrity clones, but what if it isn't cloning, but something else entirely that's been happening for over 4,000 years? Hey, just a fun speculative theory made of for entertainment purposes only. You know how it goes. Outspoken celebrity speaks up against the industry, and then all of a sudden they look and act completely different. Most recently, Jim Carrey, who for the longest time was known as the anti-Hollywood celebrity, vehemently speaking out against the entertainment industry and global elites in interviews, red carpets, and late night shows, under the guise of the jester, as Jim Carrey primarily starred in comedic roles. So he was free to speak his mind and everyone just laughed it off as a joke. And now in 2026, we saw him looking and acting completely different at the Caesar Awards in Paris, which are kind of like the French version of the Oscars. And nothing about his appearance makes any sense. To start, his face is completely different. Like, this doesn't even look like him anymore. His eyes too, eyebrows, eye color, and just his overall gaze. It's almost like someone else is in control of his body. People say he just got plastic surgery, which is possible and pretty common in Hollywood, but like, this is Jim Carrey. He was literally known as the man with the rubber face. His ability to stretch and contort it into the craziest expressions was one of the defining characteristics of his entire career. Getting plastic surgery in his face just goes completely against who he is. People noticed he also used his right hand to sign autographs, even though he's a known lefty, and his signature didn't look the same. And just overall, everything about this was just very un-Jim Carrey. Like, these elitist award shows is exactly the type of stuff that he mocked for years. And now this is how he's talking?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling. I really took on a pretty big challenge trying to do my speech in French. So, I wrote it and I researched it and I practiced it like crazy, but, it's... Yeah.
Really? That's Jim Carrey, the guy that threw up all-seeing eye triangles on Jimmy Kimmel? Apparently not, because shortly after this appearance, some makeup artist came out and said that it was actually him in a Jim Carrey mask at the show in place of him, so it was all an act. As Jim Carrey has admitted in the past to using stand-ins to cover for him when he has to be somewhere that he doesn't want to be.
I've done this a few times now, and it's using a decoy. It's fantastic.
Like a Jim Carrey double.
A Jim Carrey double.
Oh, yeah.
So, debunked, right? Well, it later turned out that makeup artist's mask was actually AI, and he made the whole thing up as a viral publicity stunt. It wasn't him. Jim Carrey's publicist even spoke out and confirmed that that was really Jim at the French award show. This is now official confirmation. So what happened to him? Why does he look so weird? And why does this happen so often in the entertainment business? As he's just one of many celebrities that have gone through a very similar character transformation. Of course, there's Kanye, who very openly spoke up against the system and the powers that be. He even once said that if he ever disappears and comes back, that's not gonna be him anymore. Which is exactly what happened when in late 2022, he went missing for several weeks and then he comes back looking and behaving different. Many others went through the same thing after opposing the industry and then disappearing, like Dave Chappelle, Jamie Foxx, and Gucci Mane. Even influencers like Mr. Beast and Kai Cenat, people are claiming just don't look like themselves anymore. The theory here is that when a celebrity is on the rise and gains enough fame that their influence over the masses becomes too great, the higher-ups need a way to control them to stick with their narrative. They usually have easier ways of doing this, like giving them more money, fame, opportunities, women, or potentially blackmailing them with visits to a certain island. When all else fails, they unalive them and use their DNA to make a clone that is now compliant with their narrative. Remember, just a theory, but if this video gets shadow banned, it just kind of further suggests that it might not be. Because cloning is possible. We've successfully cloned the first mammal, Dolly the sheep, over 30 years ago in 1996. Then, in 2002, a company called Clonaid held a global press conference claiming they've successfully cloned a human named Eve.
I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55. She's fine. We call her Eve.
Which officially on record turned out to be a hoax, but technically speaking, the technology is there to clone humans. In 2018, Chinese researchers successfully cloned 2 monkeys, and then again another in 2024. As we know, human and monkey DNA aren't so far off from each other, so we can do it. Our main obstacle to actually performing public human cloning trials are the ethical and morality concerns behind it. But historically speaking, that never stopped underground black ops research projects from doing so. though, because then we have all the famous celebrities with doppelgangers all throughout history. There's just way too many of them, and for such a small subset of well-known people today to have so many lookalikes with a similarly small subset of historical figures that actually got their portraits made, which was a very rare thing back then, makes two tiny subsets of humans with an extraordinarily high rate of crossover with each other, and well, the odds just don't add up. Almost like they're cloning celebrities that they reuse over and over again all throughout the course of history. And the further back in time we go, the less the idea of scientific cloning and DNA splicing makes sense. So we enter the bottom of the iceberg of this theory. Cloning is just the cover story. And this has been happening for thousands of years. Debunkers, you might want to skip this one. With civilizations like the Canaanites who practiced human sacrifice to their pagan gods like Moloch and other dark rituals over 3,000 years ago. Among these were said to have been soul transfer rituals, or what they sometimes referred to as passing through the fire, where they would harvest the life force of their human victims, and then allow the spirits of other entities that weren't human to enter their bodies, creating people that look human but are actually filled with the spirit of some demonic entity. Black magic type stuff, divination, and they say these practices never stopped. And now, whenever a person with great influence speaks out or gets too famous, it's said they take them under one of these rituals, where they keep their body for the most part, but are now possessed with some otherworldly being, and so act and even look a little different than they used to. These otherworldly beings are said to be evil spirits, demons, or fallen angels. The most famous of which was Lucifer, a former angel who fell from heaven due to pride, wanting to be worshipped like a god. And it's said that Lucifer brought down a third of all angels with him. Back then, they referred to angels as the stars in the night sky, with fallen angels being stars that have descended to the earthly realm. And what is it that we call famous celebrities today? Movie stars? Pop stars? Superstars? Rock stars? Hollywood is filled with symbolism of stars, which is even depicted in their famous Walk of Fame, a star for each celebrity. And what happens to stars in Hollywood? They get borderline worshipped and idolized by the public, just like the fallen angels from heaven wanted to be. And where exactly is Hollywood found again? LA. Los Angeles, which literally translates to the Angels, famously nicknamed the City of Angels, sometimes even cynically referred to as the City of Fallen Angels. Now, these pagan rituals performed by the Canaanites are a historically proven fact. We have many historical records that openly talk about it. There's no debate there. Whether those practices actually did possess humans with evil spirits, or whether they're actually continuing those same practices in the stars we know today is the real question.
The couple that climbed the Empire State Building last month, that was fake. That was fake. That was our G-Mint producing AI. I'm going to show you a clip in a second of when the helicopter was circling them, how fast the buildings were moving around the couple. Not only that, New York was over 100 degrees that day. Do you think that anybody in their right mind could wear masks up that high in over 100-degree weather, carrying a 10-foot flag on a windy day with no harness, no gear, no ropes, no anything, and survive? Do you also think that they'd be able to touch and would stand holding that metal pole up thousands of feet? I'm going to show you a clip here in a second. Guys, that was our G-Mint, and I'm not going to say the word because they'll take this down, creating a false narrative, a story to hide whatever they were hiding that day. There was nobody on the ground looking up, taking videos. Have you seen a single video of anybody in the middle of Manhattan? There would have been thousands upon thousands of videos posted. This is just another pull the wool over our head, shitbag move from our G-Mint. Here's a quick clip. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so over it. But this was completely made up, completely AI. Take a look.
guys know that they are searching for missing flight MH370 literally right now, right? Because here's what just happened. So right now, as of literally today, there is a ship in the middle of the Indian Ocean that's scanning the ocean floor for MH370. And yes, it's happening right now. This is obviously the plane that everybody should already know about at this point, but it vanished 12 years ago, and most people have no idea that the search is happening right now. And here's where it gets crazy, because they actually started the search back on December the 30th, which means that they've been out there for almost 2 months now. They have now officially scanned over 7,200 square kilometers of the ocean floor, and the result so far is basically nothing. They have found literally nothing at all. No wreckage, no debris, no black boxes. The contract actually states that they only have until September to find it, and they've only covered less than half of the area that they plan to. Dude, some investigators are actually now saying that the reason they can't find it might be because the pilot glided the plane after it ran out of fuel, which basically means that the plane could have traveled at least 70 miles beyond where they're looking right now, so the search zone that they're at might be completely wrong. I am watching and covering every single step of this search right now, and if they find something, you are gonna hear about it here.
Mild classic king rings around the world, but ended up 6 feet under before he did. He was one of the most famous directors in history, known as the most detail-oriented and hidden message visionary in all of filmmaking. He only made a handful of movies during his time, and they're still all being meticulously studied by movie buffs to this day, still finding hidden meanings in them all the time. Every single tiny object, angle, lighting, positioning, words, effects, zooms, backgrounds, everything in his movies is extremely intentional and all has a very specific purpose. Now in the 60s, Kubrick set out to create his first mega hit project, 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is widely regarded as the greatest sci-fi movie ever made, and it kind of didn't make sense with how advanced it was for its time. This movie came out in 1968, like this is how sci-fi movies look like back then. Then out of nowhere, this movie comes out and looks like that. Like some scenes from this movie are so crisp and realistic, they literally look like they were filmed in 8K yesterday. But this movie came out almost 60 years ago. Now theories went around that Kubrick actually received shadow funding from the US government and NASA to shoot this movie as a sort of test run to see how accurately they can depict outer space on TV screens. And well, Stanley Kubrick fucking nailed it, to say the least, receiving access to special cameras and equipment that no one else had to show us space like we've never seen before. This movie even had an entire, albeit short-lived, scene of humans on the moon. And do you know what happened just 1 year after Space Odyssey came out in 1968? We went to the moon in 1969. The theory claiming that in return for the funding and technology he received for the movie, Kubrick had to help NASA stage the moon landings, telling him he's not allowed to tell anyone he did or else. But the guilt got to him, and Kubrick needed to somehow get the truth out there. So instead, he took it to his movies to leave clues and hidden messages about what he really did. 12 years later, he releases another breakout hit, The Shining. And this is the one that people say is so littered with clues that tell us Stanley Kubrick helped NASA fake the moon landings that it all but confirms it. And it all starts with the famous room 237, the haunted guest room in the hotel of the movie. In the original book, The Shining, which is what the movie's based on, the room was 217, with Kubrick changing it to 237 for the movie for no apparent reason. Well, it just so happens that the moon is 237,000 miles away from us. Or at least that's what we thought back then. We now have more accurate measures and know it's a little over 238,000. There's even a close shot of the key to the room, whose letters can be used to spell moon room, implying he was trying to use his room as a metaphor for the moon. All throughout the movie, characters talk about things happening in room 237 that we're not supposed to know about. When they're in the pantry, we see this product Tang all over the shelves in the back, which is a drink mix similar to Kool-Aid back then. A drink that had an official partnership with NASA at the time, being astronauts' powdered beverage of choice when up in space. Tang even featured astronauts in ad campaigns, like in their 1969 For Spacemen and Earth Families slogan. Boxes all throughout the background also have the number 39 written all over them. Launchpad 39A is where Apollo 11, the first manned mission to the moon, took off from, which looks like this, oddly similar to the carpet pattern that Danny, the kid in the movie, is knelt down on. And if it wasn't obvious enough, when Danny slowly gets up from this launchpad position on the carpet, we see him wearing a fucking Apollo 11 sweater, which has no connection to the movie whatsoever. He's just wearing it. And again, Stanley Kubrick was a maniac. He would not have a main character in the movie wearing something like this for no reason. The line "all work and no play" in Jack's manuscript, the word "all" is written as A11, as in Apollo 11. The typewriter he works with is a German Adler, which translates in English to eagle, the name of the Apollo 11 lunar lander.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
And the famous ghost twins in the movie allegedly represent the two failed Gemini missions that preceded Apollo. Then there's just the name of the
Waffle House has some explaining to do. And why do I say that? Because an individual that was traveling stopped in at a local Waffle House like many of us do. And Waffle Houses lately have been famous for their fights and their food. But take a look at this for yourself. Look at that. No.
They're getting it on too.
I'm out.
Time to go.
Exactly.
Right, this out.
Their waffles are pretty good that even a roach can come off the floor and enjoy them along with you. And as you can see from here, he went in every nook and every cranny. Totally disgusting. So I'm not going to come on here to bash Waffle House because I've had their food. I've been to a few of their restaurants in my travels and I've never had an experience like that. And I'm sure that's probably a one-off. I'm hoping it's a one-off. But let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. Have you stopped in at a Waffle House and made friends that had more legs than you? Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And as always, I'd love to hear from you.
This footage I'm about to show you of a man whose wife went missing. And when he reviewed his security footage, this is what he saw. I noticed the humanoid creature in the doorway as they sleeping. Look at this. Now this footage left the cops confused. The woman is gone, nowhere to be found. There's a stain on the pillow. The stain turned out to be blood. As the police searched for evidence, they could not understand or wonder what was going on in this video. But as you can clearly see, this entity, whatever it is, possibly an ET or some type of demon, snatched this lady out of her bed. Now from the camera at the store, it makes me think this is possibly ET technology. And that was possibly an ET that snatched her. Or it could be both.
And then this is what else he says. This is crazy.
But wait, there's more.
He said, yeah, I'm thinking about living in New York, but to travel to Philly, I'm gonna take a 45-minute ride in a helicopter.
Get the fuck out of here.
Come on, man. This is what he says.
Nah. I'm done.
Dude.
I'm done.
I know this fucking movie.
I'm telling you, it's the weirdest shit ever.
Yeah, it's called Real Life.
Yeah, at this point, it's a documentary.
At this point,
it's a doc.
He said it's a
But people
doc.
don't understand. So when it comes to, again, gematria, numerology, all these things that line up, you don't think that they are very aware and very intentional with all this stuff? He wants to win, right? And we're talking about sacrifice and Kobe dying in the helicopter and his sacrifice, and he's saying all these things correlate. He has a boule tattoo.
Watch him give him a ring too.
Now, this next video was recorded by an overnight security guard who works at a cemetery. One night, while doing his rounds, he records a video for his brother-in-law, whom he wanted to show the crematorium that's on this property. Apparently, it gets pretty creepy once it's dark, and he wanted to show him why he doesn't like patrolling this area. Now, for those who don't know, a crematorium is a place where the deceased are cremated and essentially reduced to ashes. These remains are then put inside urns, which the families then keep. But knowing what goes on back here only makes what was captured that much more unsettling. As the guard records this video, he captures this.
They turn off automatically at a certain hour. And I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna walk you through now. I have a friend that works that he would see and hear things coming from these furnaces when they're burning the bodies. So when I'm walking through here, they usually put the urns out to send to the families. So when I'm walking here at night, I walk right by these urns that they put on these tables here. And then I come down, freaking out.
As if the crematorium wasn't already creepy enough, this occurrence made it worse. Now something odd happens when he passes by the furnaces and it's heard on camera. A loud tapping sound is picked up by the mic, but strangely, it happens only when he passes by the furnaces.
I have a friend that works.
Now, even if the chamber was somehow messing with the phone's mic, it doesn't explain what happens next, because out of nowhere, an urn from across the room starts to vibrate. Only this one begins to move, and not a single other urn does the same. Now that's creepy, but it doesn't stop there, because moments later, this happens. The urn's lid begins to creep open by itself. Seeing this, he bolts out in a panic frenzy before stopping to catch his breath and seeing this. It's as if someone had walked out from inside. Having no explanation for this or this, he clocks out immediately and tells his boss what just happened. Now, while there haven't been any updates, it's safe to say the security guard will be keeping his distance from this place. For now, not much else is known about that night or how the urn had seemingly came alive. But one thing's for sure though, if that specific urn actually had remains inside, then what just happened becomes a whole lot creepier.
So people, they believe that the guy who tried to shoot at Trump said he was trying to kill a pedo. This Iran war, they're saying that he's starting all of this because he's trying to get away from the Epstein files. He's doing all of these things. Do you believe that?
All of this is about oil, gas, and money. Barack Obama gave Iran $150 billion, and what they never built one road. The Strait of Hormuz is where all of the oil goes through in that area. When we went and took Maduro, that removed China's access to oil from the Western Hemisphere. What was China trying to do? Well, all of the other countries forming BRICS to have a gold-backed currency to replace the US dollar. The petrodollar is how you buy oil. Only use the American dollar for that. Once certain countries start accepting the Chinese yuan to buy oil, this happened. That's all over with now.
Everybody calling me industry plan and shit. And just to keep it real, bro, I just sold my soul to King. And they just, they told me, I had to do this ritual and shit. And they told me, like, if you do this, then we'll make sure that you're, So that's the main reason why y'all see me everywhere right now is because they told me to, like, do certain shit. And I had to, y'all said humiliation ritual. That was a part of the deal. I had to humiliate myself.
Maybe Dean is playing around, right? Maybe he's trolling, right? Because I don't know whether he's serious or not. But he's saying that people are saying that he's an industry plant. He did kind of blow up real fast. I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for anybody that's taking anything to the next level. But something's going on with Dean, and something's been going on with Dean lately. I know you've seen it. Now, we don't know if he's sold out like Jordans or he's sold out like Yeezys. Shut up! Something is going on with Dean, and I'm not sure if he's serious in that video or not. Dean has been acting funny with Adrian lately, right? Because Adrian's trying to shape up and do things right. And Dean seems to want to still live that life. This is what people are saying. This is why they would think he's a plant, and he just said that he's a plant. No, he didn't say that. They said it. Something's up. But of course, guys, entertainment purposes only. You see who he's chilling with right here. Ty Dolla $ign. And you know Ty Dolla $ign is plugged in. Blueface too. Let me know if you know something else.
Satanic type ideology is what popularized yoga throughout the West. Aleister Crowley, who by the way was also working for British intelligence, was a huge proponent of this idea of man achieving apotheosis through not just tech, but through a magical view of tech. Madame Blavatsky, she was a Fabian socialist. Crowley was a huge fan of hers. We wouldn't have yoga everywhere, every Instagram chick, doing yoga if it wasn't for Madame Blavatsky and Crowley.
Madame Blavatsky from the surviving photographs does not look like she practiced yoga.
I would not want to see her in yoga pants.
No. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Why yoga?
The actual process of yoga is intended to essentially possess you. You're invoking entities to begin at your butt stuff and like go up and open up your third eye. That's what it is in the Hindu and the Tantric tradition. It's actually a lot of really gross stuff if you take it seriously. I'm not talking about like people that just sort of stretch and do
On a Wednesday afternoon, a woman named Sandra records a video of a house where not too long ago something horrifying took place. Currently, no one lives in this house, And the reason for this is because Sandra moved out of it. She was the one who used to live there, and no one else has moved in since her. But for good reason. Something isn't right with this place.
So we are pulling up to my old house.
Pulling up to your old house.
No one lives here anymore. It's haunted.
Now, there have been many times when Sandra's family would claim to feel uneasy when visiting her place. Like them, she never enjoyed being here, but the reason she's now back is because only 2 nights ago, after just moving out, she got a strange notification from her security camera that's outside the house. She didn't know she had left it behind until receiving this notification, so she knew she had to pick it up. But after seeing what was recorded, there was no way she was coming back here alone at night. The following is what was caught on the security camera. Watch. Somehow, the door to the back entrance opens on its own. Thinking that someone had broken in, Sandra grabs her phone to call the police after seeing this on footage. After all, the lock on the door can be heard clicking open, as if someone was inside. But after seeing no one come out for more than a few minutes, that's when she knew this was something else. The reason she and her boyfriend moved out of this house in the first place wasn't just because they couldn't keep up with the bills, but also because of the strange things that kept happening inside. One night, Sandra woke up in a cold sweat to find someone or something staring at her from across the room. She blames it on sleep paralysis, but her boyfriend thinks otherwise. Now, despite having something on camera, they still don't have the camera itself. So, a few days later, Sandra goes back with her nephew to retrieve it, but while heading back, this is captured. Take a look.
No one lives here anymore. It's haunted.
A chair that appears heavy falls on its own, and it happens right when Sandra arrives. Despite there being nothing around to tip it over, the chair crashes down. For this reason, she believes it was no accident that this occurred. Just a few nights ago, the back door opened on its own, and before that, Sandra was already experiencing strange happenings in this house. It's no wonder why Sandra is fully convinced her old place is haunted. But of course, what are your thoughts on this? Is it actually the case that her old house is haunted? Or might there be an explanation for everything that's occurred? For now, there has yet to be a definitive answer to this question.
Okay, tell me what this is. What is this, Booshkies? What is this? I'm not saying this is a UFO. I'm not even saying this is a bunch of UFOs or a fire in the sky. I have no idea what this is. I've never seen anything like it. What do you think, Booshkies? What do you think? Shabadoo!
Oh, we've got your ass. We've got your ass now. Now this is what it looked like after the last reset. So after the fall of the Tartarian Empire, there was a lot of Tartarian tech just lying about, and the settlers, which you know as the founders, moved in and salvaged what they could. I mean, how many times have I told you that these men with the horse and wagon did not build these structures, and this is not their technology. Are you trying to tell me that they would build train tracks, tram lines, and carts, but didn't know how to build an engine? Come on, brother. This is what it would look like in today's day and age. It's like somebody riding up on a horse, finding a jeep, but didn't have a key, and decided to use horsepower. And this is why they used to say, what in tarnations is going on? Because when it came to Tartaria, they didn't have a clue.
Okay, hold on a second. I just rewatched Terminator 2, and I cannot fathom a possibility other than someone has to have known and been on the inside of some agendas going on to be able to come up with the script for this movie and the first one. Like, this is not some creative thought like, oh, let's make a movie. In 1999, keep in mind, like most people, there's barely cell phones. You got a few pagers, there's a bit of internet action, but that's it. Someone fathomed the concept that humans made AI so powerful that it then began and eventually perceived humanity as a threat. Then made humanoid, cyborgy robots to go back in time. And in the first one, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the bad guy. In the second one, they reprogrammed him. They captured his cybernetic freaking half human, half cyborg and sent him back to the future, back to the past rather, to save John Connor, of course. And then we have Sarah Connor, who was thrown into a mental asylum for destroying the data centers owned by Skynet. Now, officially, it was that she destroyed a computer factory, but there's a conception here going on where people think it was a data center. But there's just no way that someone organically thought of this. It's the same thing with the movie, of course, The Matrix, which apparently similar people wrote it, or the same person wrote The Matrix and Terminator. They were wrote by the same two women, I believe. Remember this? Anyways, did they have inside info, or did they like remote view into the future about what's going to unfold, and they decided to make movies about it to warn us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
Nick was taking care of his grandmother one night when he noticed something strange. She had been standing in the kitchen for several minutes, completely frozen. Both dogs started growling in her direction. That's when he noticed something else. The robot vacuum suddenly rolled toward him, then stopped, acting like something was blocking its path. Then, out of nowhere, Nick never figured out why the dogs reacted, or what made that figurine fall.
There's been so many different coincidences that Messi's been in that tie to really weird Freemason rituals. Look at this. Yeah.
What's going on?
There was an ad with Messi being pretty much like harassed weirdly in Freemasonry. It's called proximity ritual. And pretty much is when somebody gets like touched by the group.
Yeah.
It's a form of ritualized intimacy within a strongly
Okay, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
setting. This is the commercial that he was in. Oh no. Playing around with him.
No.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? The reason they do this though, it's their humiliation ritual, but it's also the initiation to join.
Yeah.
You can see Messi always gets physically touched and harassed, right?
Yeah, because I'm thinking like, yo, Lamine, why is he getting bathed by Messi? Like,
It's weird.
It's weird, regardless.
It's
like,
weird as hell.
why?
You know West Coast rappers that went big, right? Y'all can't have Tupac from the West Coast, but he not from LA. Right, Tupac from New York, but besides Tupac being from New York, when he was on the West Coast, Tupac is from Oakland, California. Right, he was repping Oakland. He did not claim LA. And a lot of people think Tupac claimed LA, right? But he said to live and die in LA, that was a song. That's because he was over there with Suge, right? Tupac was kind of like, I'm gonna keep it real. Whoever hood he was at, he claimed it. Right? No, for real, that was Pac. When Pac was in Jersey, Pac was doing the Jersey shit. Right? When Pac was in Oakland, Pac was doing that Oakland shit. Pac was a trained actor. No, for real. But listen, I don't got a problem with Tupac. But everybody know Tupac went to school for acting, and they say Tupac got stuck in the movie Juice. He got stuck in that character. Listen, if you're watching this, y'all need to check out Juice, right? If y'all ain't seen it, it's a classic. But they say Tupac got stuck in that character. I don't know if he did.
Oh my God.